No, there isn't. It doesn't work.
That was the end.
And you watched it.
It's one of those things where you can do laundry, order fit food, make dinner, clean the house while you're watching it. Yes, I ordered my fit food fresh.
Do you know this morning?
You forget
what was at my door?
Fit food?
Yes.
Mine too.
I know, but the guy that played in it died. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That guy.
I couldn't remember his name. But that was the guy. So with him, you should just leave it alone. There you go.
We kept going in and out of it, but the end, I thought I got to talk to Connecticut about it. Meta. It was a new term I hadn't heard yet, but you probably have because you hang with all the cool kids. See, I know. They're having a blast over here.
You see? I got the camera on there.
Oh my gosh, I want to thank Julie Aquino and Glenn Serrano for joining us today. It was just scratching the tip of the iceberg with them here.
You know, they left here and I have 15 pages of questions now.
We're going to have to talk. We'll have to meet with them again. She has so many ideas. Julie's also a mentor for women, for girls in distress. She has an open door policy. She takes girls in to live with her when they need a home. She has the biggest heart, and you know Glenn has to as well, because they have an open door policy, and they just come and go. Whenever someone needs a home.
You know we neglected to welcome our 2 new sponsors.
Why did you do that?
No, what do you do?
We have 2 new sponsors. We have Shara Kaltoon and Sonia Hankin.
How do you do that? Okay, go ahead. 2
life coaches. Shari Kaltoon is an estrangement coach. She works with people who have relationship estrangement issues. And Sonia Hankin, she has a Journey Through Dance program. She also works with building confidence. So again, we go back to persevere over fear. I'm going to make that a t-shirt. I'm going to make a note on that one.
You know, Shari helped me.
How about I make persevere over fear with my wand? How about that?
Why don't you put some wine in that?
Now that's even a better idea.
Do you know, I told your mother that. She was at the shoot yesterday.
Wednesday.
And I said to your mother, I said, listen, we're going to do a wine and we're going to put vodka in it. Oh my gosh, she says, that is the best idea you've ever come up with.
She thinks you're very charming, Connecticut. My mom says, Freddie, he's very charming.
And she added more purple to her hair, Connecticut. A bit. 3/4 of her head is purple.
A bit.
I told her, why don't you just make it all purple?
Do you know that we're going to be doing the Key West Paranormal Society at their house the end of June?
Yes, I do.
So we're going to be doing a preliminary visit. My mom has homework. She needs to find out about the land. She needs to find out about the house. Different people, they're the only owners of the house, so she's got some homework. And then we're going to be covering, right when they actually do the whole segment, we're going to film it.
We're going to film it. It's on the 24th. It's at midnight.
That's a prelim, and July 1st is when we're doing...
I guarantee you at the 24th, when you see something, everybody's going to be running for the hills. It's going to be the end of that, baby.
You want to come? Okay. See, the Mickey room. Okay, you got it.
Now, I have a request.
Okay, Grandma Vodka, the 24th is a party at your house.
Sarah Spiritual wants to go. She said that she needs to be invited, but she wanted to go, and she spoke to your mother.
All right, we'll invite everybody. We'll have My Delicious Deli cater the event.
No, take it easy.
What, do you think we can go to an event without food?
And that's true.
You're not Jewish yet.
That's what your husband said. They're gonna make you Jewish, Freddie. I said, I'm already there.
It's always food. I bring the food. She brings the vodka.
What was that stuff we were eating? You guys you know what they had? Pudding.
No, that would be called kugel.
They had the kitten.
Noodle kugel in our world. He calls it pudding.
It's pudding. And Carmen says my mother makes that with rum.
Do you know?
Noodle kugel? It's like a pasta dish.
Pudding is this thick mess that's sweet and delicious.
Sweet and delicious. It's noodles, cheese, butter, raisins.
In Carmen's mother makes it with rum, so we're going to Carmen's mother's house.
We're going
to have her version.
Huh? You see the theme here? Tell you what, I'll teach you about being Jewish if you teach me about being Latino.
Yeah, but you guys got funny names like Jewish crack and stuff. I can't eat that stuff. I got a doctor in the house.
What about pudding?
Pudding, I couldn't eat either.
That's a normal name?
And the bagel.
And you had that cake yesterday, and you know what?
God.
Your sugar was good, you said.
118. Let me ask you a question. That cake, what happened to the cake?
I think it went in the bag. J&D Cakes made this beautiful rainbow bagel cake. So the fondant,
I was going to bring you a piece. What happened
The fondant
to it?
on the outside looked like a rainbow bagel, but the cake inside was a rainbow cake. So it was blue and red and yellow. When you sliced into it, you could see.
My God, it was delicious.
It was delicious.
And I can't eat.
Save us, honey.
I don't even know what happened to it. I got none. We couldn't bring any of that. We had so much food. I could have fed everybody in here.
There was so much food. And my daughter was packing lunch today. And of course, at 25, there's no food. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a tuna wrap in the back. She says, can I take the whole thing?
You made it.
So they gave me a bowl of tuna to make a wrap.
A bowl.
And by the second hour, you know, when you have a segment with 15 guests, it's a lot of work. It's different than when we sit here. I just put all the tuna in the wrap. I don't even know how many pounds this tuna wrap is.
She put her gloves on, smacks the tuna in there, closes it over, let's move on.
She says, it looks like a burrito. My daughter says, do you feel how heavy this is? I said, yeah, you may only want to take half for it.
He made me, the cook, what's his name, Frank? What was the name of the cook? Frank?
The chef.
The chef. Chip is
No,
Frank, no?
It wasn't Frank.
Bob? It's one of those.
Okay.
He made me a sandwich, a ham and cheese sandwich. The thing must have been 6 stories high. So I said to him, let me ask you a question. How am I supposed to eat that? You know what he says? Carefully.
Oh my gosh, did you see the sandwich Carmen got? She wanted a club sandwich. It was 4 sandwiches in one. She took off the top of one, which is the size of a sandwich. It was unbelievable.
It was bigger than her.
Their food. And the best thing about it, your sugar didn't go up, which meant everything was cooked healthy without excess frying and excess oil.
Well, I stayed away
that's a credit to what it is.
Yeah, but I stayed away from French
fries. But you
fries.
tried the other things.
But everything he brought out, we had to taste. Like the meatballs he made, Grandma's
sweet and sour meatballs.
Oh,
wow.
Smokes.
I'm making everyone hungry.
Yes. Or hypertensive.
Or hypertensive.
Hopefully not.
All right, let's get on to the next set.
But see, all those things I had to talk about.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, we could do My Delicious Deli every day and still have room. And then Barry kept saying, how do you guys keep having things to say?
We always have something to say. But you know, we found out, Gio told us we can take a hotspot and we can go in the Black Pearl limousine. We can drive around.
Excuse me.
And then come out on the red carpet.
You're not supposed to say how to do that. You're just supposed to
say
we can
Well,
do
it
that.
has to go through all of our equipment. But then we can go out on the red carpet.
Scratch that out. Hit the panic button. Whatever you got to hit.
Hey, Freddie.
Just give it away.
Easy.
And we can do that. We can go around in the limo and keep going.
Next time you say my secrets on the air, I'm going to blank you.
Okay.
I have a new duck for you in the car.
Remind my ducks. My ducks in a row.
I have bricks coming. Oh, did you hear? He's the guy with the t-shirt.
Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn. He's bringing me bricks.
You know, if you ever want to pull off a prank, Glenn is the one to talk
Is he?
to. Oh,
Prank?
yes.
We're going to call him.
So imagine being part of the Hialeah Fire Department for your career. If there's a prank to be had, he probably knows Glenn. Then Glenn would be the one.
He's funny. Funny guy.
He retired a couple years ago. The phone's ringing.
It must be Glenn.
That's a hotline. Do you hear that? That's like the bat phone.
Okay, can we move on to our
Do you hear that?
No, I don't hear that. How can I hear that? Well, I'm on the air. We're doing the show.
We have Jane
Do you
Garcia
remember
Deal
we're
in
at
the
the
house.
Brooklyn Cafe?
We're at the Brooklyn Cafe. We have fun on an extended
I know my
lunch.
phone
We
number,
digress.
so.
You have your. She knows her phone number. Jane Garcia Deal from Caring People in the house.
What'd you hold up?
She has the right phone number now.
Oh, you know, you gave out the wrong phone
I
number when you were
did.
here the
I
last
was
time.
devastated.
Do you know how many people
I
called?
did correct it, yeah, right.
And then they called me and said, yo, that's the wrong number, yo.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what?
They would have got my Broward office.
They got the firemen of Hialeah.
So we talked to Jane about coming on for Red Nose Day today. I don't know if we have red noses, but
we
Red
have
Nose Day,
enough to
I
drink?
thought,
What are we drinking?
Red Nose Day, no, Red Nose Day, I thought was
Drink.
to acknowledge
Whatever
no
you
more
thought is correct.
childhood.
That's right.
Right?
We were
Poverty.
incorrect information.
Okay, that's what I thought,
Yes.
but then I thought, all right, we can talk about that as well. But today is National Red Nose Day.
Is it? I thought you go to the bar, you drink a lot, you come out, you got a red nose.
It's to raise awareness to prevent childhood poverty.
Ah, yes.
Childhood poverty and hunger,
Walmart
actually.
does that, isn't it? Walmart?
Walgreens.
Them too.
Yeah. We do have them in the car, right?
The
Yeah.
red noses.
Unless it's
So,
your- we're gonna
in
focus on
acknowledgement of
the
Red Nose Day.
So, but it is hypertension. Was May 17th was hypertension day.
All right, so
National
talk about National
Prevention and
It's
Prevention.
my
awareness.
holiday.
Do you still have high blood pressure?
Of course I do.
Working with me, I'm
No,
sure
I
you
don't
do.
have- I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was heart disease month.
It is.
It is.
It is? Because everywhere I
Well,
go...
February and May. Just depends on what type of heart disease.
There's more than one?
Well, he'll tell you.
Yes.
How many heart
So
disease?
Jane, tell us who you brought with you today.
Dr. Barry Pierre, who's an internal medicine physician in Boynton Beach, and Stacy Silver, who is one of our
Hello.
Caring People representatives and home care consultants.
In the name of the company you're with.
Caring People Home Health.
So you work with Dr. Pierre and Stacy.
Stacy and Dr. Pierre work very closely with our agency, yes. Stacy's one of our reps, and Dr. Pierre is one of our referring physicians.
Very nice to meet you. I said that to Stacy because I met you at Orthopedic Center open house.
She
yes,
did.
I did. I remember saying, I'm not so. I hang with this one. I'm not so good at names always, but yes, faces I remember.
Whoa! You're not good at names, and we're really in trouble because I'm not good at names at all. We're really don't say that out loud. Anyway, Doc, welcome to the set.
Welcome to our show.
So thank you for having me.
As you can see, we're not the cleverest people.
That's all right. That's
really?
You don't have to be nervous now.
I thought you were going to say we're not the most traditional shows, but we have fun and we spread our message.
That's really the important thing. As long as you get the message out there.
Right? It's how you get the message out. It's the delivery, and so people receive it.
Yep.
So May 17th was Hypertension Awareness Day.
Correct.
And you're an internist?
I'm an internist. I'm a board certified internist. I'm a founder of blog, drpiersblog.com, best-selling author now. That actually happened in the past couple of weeks. And I take care of patients on an outpatient basis as well as inpatient. And probably one of the biggest and probably the most common complaints I get and common diseases I take care of is high blood pressure and heart disease. I probably see for every 4 patients, and probably 2 of them either have one form of either coronary artery disease or hypertension, and I have to take care of that in myriad of issues, whether it's prevention or if you already have the disease, I have to make sure that it doesn't cause any further problems down the line.
So people come to you first as a primary care.
Yes.
Do you still need to refer them to a cardiologist, or can you pretty much handle what you need to handle?
Your general internist should be able to take care of most of the basics, especially from heart disease, blood pressure, and everything. Because for one, we don't have enough cardiologists out there. Like if I referred all of my hypertensive patients to a cardiologist, they would never probably get seen. Their wait time would probably be 3-4 months.
And why is that?
Because a lot of times because it's so common. For one, it's such a common disorder, and a lot of my cardiologists, they really want to kind of deal with the more advanced cases, the more disease processes. So they want their family physician, they want their internist to kind of be able to kind of just manage it. And once I get to the point where I can't manage it, then kind of hand it off to them.
So, but as a primary care, as once your first stop, you can handle really a lot of what's going on, the primary needs, the hypertension, loss of weight, what's going on with that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how Dr. Pierre works with caring people and how to get in touch with him. We'll be right back.
You put Rose here again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I have you. I kept turning it to you. I'm like, Stacy, and you're like this.
In the phone,
when we first started.
Hey guys, looks like we got a few people join. I'm sure we are live. I'm on my live as well.
So Spiritual wants to come on the 24th or the 1st? The 1st?
This is my good friend.
For the prelim?
Amazing person. Works for caring people, right?
Amazing doctor.
Yes, caring people.
I feel like it's going to be like
caring people home health. Let's get that. I don't know if we get that on the. It won't zoom in. Amazing home health agency.
Okay,
They do
you
it
told
all.
my mother the same thing.
Whenever I need a patient to take care of,
Something
like
with the
she's the
land.
one I refer patients to. So please, if you have any needs, especially from a home health standpoint, home health, wound care, what do you guys don't do? That's probably
skilled
a better
nursing
question.
or any type of therapy.
Okay, yeah, that's probably better. What do you guys don't do? Like she's amazing. She's just an amazing person in general. And you went to Lake Worth, right? Went to Lake
My
Worth,
husband.
Yes, her husband went to Lake Worth, so I already know he's good people. As well.
Got his own show going on.
Yes.
So Dawn's husband is Dr. Graubert, who's a physiatrist.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
In
to the Orthopedic Center.
Boynton, Boca, Boynton,
Lake Worth, and Wellington now. He hasn't been there yet, though.
I love physiatry. That's definitely an interesting field that they didn't really promote to us very much, especially when we were medical students. Like we didn't really know much about it. It wasn't until I became a resident and we were working for physiatrists out of Jupiter. It's gonna kill me. I don't know his name.
Jupiter, I don't know.
He's at it. I know he does a lot of like med mal cases, but like just his skill was like amazing. So I definitely always try to make sure my patients could use a physiatrist. They can.
Oh, because you're in Boynton by Bethesda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Roberts, they just opened a big office on Hagen Ranch Road.
Okay, West. Okay.
I think you were supposed to come to that.
Maybe
Probably.
Probably.
He has twins. So he's a little busy at
hours. How old are your twins?
Twins, they are 1 year and 9
right?
months, and then the oldest is about to be 5. Yeah. She's about to be 5 in a few months.
Wow. And his wife is she's a doctor as well.
Yeah, she's working on her PhD in marriage and family therapy.
I'm looking at your MPH.
Yes, I have a master's in public health. My thesis was on program evaluation. So I like, being able to go and just kind of observe and see what's right, what's wrong.
I used to call those mud fuds. Or fud muds, depending on what you got first. Because I was with my husband when he was in medical school. And then there were those people that got their PhDs at the same time. Isn't that funny?
So you call them what?
Mud fuds or fud muds. MD PhDs or PhDs MDs. But it's different with the DO, so we have to come up with another acronym.
Yes. Yeah, went to Nova. I was able to get both the MPH and Nova. Nova South Eastern in Davie.
My father-in-law used to be a professor there.
Oh, a long time
Probably
ago?
before you were there, though.
Nice. Yeah, because it used to just be Southeastern. And then I forget when they joined. I want to say in the 80s. Right, like the 80s. And they became Nova.
He was probably there in the 80s. Maybe that's why the name sounds familiar.
What did he teach?
Family medicine.
Oh, he's a physician, too?
I gotta ask, what is the dump button?
It goes to her.
Oh.
It's if you want to talk to her, and it bypasses the.
Dump. Maybe if someone curses, I hit the dump.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It's like an emergency. Get
But
it out of here.
But it doesn't prevent it from being on video.
Oh.
We have no prevention.
Right. Got it.
And then there's a cough button too. So if you're coughing,
get to clear your throat or something.
Yeah. But the other mic's bigger.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Brooklyn Cafe. We are live streaming on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe, as well as on Periscope at the Brooklyn Cafe.
At
you
the
can
what?
send the Brooklyn Cafe. It's actually the Brooklyn Cafe lunch. I know you don't understand. You can send us a message on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Hashtag the Brooklyn Cafe. We had a full house. We are on an extended lunch today. A late lunch from 1 to 2.
So if you have a question for the doctor or anything, what's the number?
We have Dr. Pierre, 800-889-0267, an internist from Bethesda in Boynton Beach. We also have Jane and
Stacy
from Caring People in the house. So thank you all for, Jane had another guest lined up, and with all of her resources in the hospital emergency, she was able to get Dr. Pierre to join us. So thank you so much for joining us and on such short notice.
Not a problem. Anytime Stacy calls, if I can make the news, I'm gonna make it.
Now I got a question. What kind of book did you write? What does a doctor like you write a book?
So a very good question. I actually wrote a book called The Making of a Medical Mogul. And it's a anthology of about 20 other great friends of mine, and we all wrote a chapter in this book that kind of detailed our process of being able to take our medical degree and kind of do more with it.
This is like a reality script.
So what do you do more? You also see you have your MPH.
So I have my MPH. I blog, live stream. I'm very big on social media from that aspect, and just being able to break out of the traditional box at what a physician is normally used to being seen as.
Do you remember that show you used to do, Doctors Are People Too? Yeah. And it was the other side of being a doctor. Mm-hmm. And things had changed a little bit. It became more about being the doctor, but this is exactly what your concept of the show was.
I'm going to talk to Doc. I wanted to dress doctors up in football jersey or baseball jersey. So whatever was your favorite team. Because I wasn't interested in that side of you. I was interested in the side you wrote the book about.
Right, your hobbies, what you do outside of practicing medicine.
Yeah. I couldn't get people to understand this. And you wrote a book about it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think what happens, we
validation.
We go to medical school, we do all this training, and you just you get so focused on taking care of the patient that you kind of forget that you're a person yourself. So you kind of let go of aspirations of writing a book, of speaking, of I have friends who do touring. I have friends who do worldwide. They just outside the box, and that's what the main gist of it. And a friend of mine, Dr. Dreon Birch, he was our coach, and he would just kind of say, if I show you different ways to do it, you won't think that it's impossible.
So you had a coach as well.
Oh yes, yeah. I think if you're going to be successful in any industry, any business, like you got to have someone who knows what they're doing that can kind of, who's already kind of navigated all of those bumps in the road and helped me kind of avoid them.
The first hour we had my business coach and my very good friend was here. We were talking about entrepreneur and women in business, and she works with multi-million-dollar companies as well as helping women go to their next level in their business from whatever level it is. And here we are talking to a doctor, and he has a coach as well. And you would think, why would a doctor need a coach? But again, it gets you out of your comfort zone of being the doctor.
But look at all the things he does. I mean, aside from being
he's a medical mogul.
That's right.
Yes.
Medical mogul.
Outside of the box, I mean, this guy doesn't even know what a box is. This guy's just. But I'm really intrigued. I want to read the book because, for some reason, I came up with that show. It wasn't something they came up with. That was something I came up with. And I could not get them to bridge.
They didn't have the vision you had.
They didn't have the vision.
That company didn't have the vision you had, and it was we would interview the doctor about being the doctor, which we have many shows about that. But your idea, your vision was exactly what you sit here and talk about.
Okay. And it changes your perspective because, one of the things when you go see a doctor, you should be able to see him as a person.
That's exactly right.
So that if you don't like something, you don't just sit there and take it. You say, Doc, this ain't working for me.
Right.
I do this all the time. That's why I have had so many doctors in the past. But there's a right way and a wrong way of approaching this thing. How many doctors were put together to put that book? How many?
21.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's 21 shows.
Well, it's 21 doctors to collaborate with each other, which is amazing in and of itself.
Yes.
To get
in one book.
In one book.
That's phenomenal. You could have a book writing session, and part of the session is them telling their story. I mean, that's what I was trying to get out. The jerseys, the shirts. Now we have a shirt guy.
We definitely have Tees for Humanities that'll make any shirt that you want. Doctors are people too. I think it's a great idea. And then everyone gets a shirt.
That's a t-shirt.
And I'm going to tell you, the show did so well, they put it on, I don't know if I'm allowed to even say who they are, but they put it on all across the country, this show. It did so well going in the other direction. Mm-hmm. They still don't understand what the hell I'm talking about.
What I found fascinating is, number one, is you have the time. And two is, way back when medicine was, doctors were people. They were making house calls. Mm-hmm. You got to know the family. We had a show on that with two broads. You got to know the family, and you were part of their family. And then medicine changed, and our system changed, and it became much more of, you got to see the patients. It's we got to bill insurance. We got to see the patients. We got to make a living.
Yes.
And there's no family time anymore.
There's no family time. There's no getting
always,
to know your patient time.
Right.
Because you're working in these big managerial offices, and now twice in a week we come back full circle to the doctor as a human, as a person. And doctors are people too, and your other side of being a physician.
Definitely.
So what else do you do? I know you blog, but what do you talk about? What are your other interests?
For part of my blogging is I try to, like what we do in today, just kind of break down medical topics and really make it seem as simple as possible. When we talk about heart disease, when we talk about diabetes, a lot of for the average person, it can seem very daunting. And their only source is WebMD or Dr. Google, which
where everyone's a doctor.
Where everyone's a doctor.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of give patients an avenue to say, I want to know a little bit about heart disease. Let me see how he explains it. And if you especially if you read it, like I try to break it down as simple as possible. I don't try to hit you with big words because I want you to try to get the point of it. Because as a physician, we have a very difficult time explaining it in a very simple way. So you go to your doctor's office, say, well, you have high blood pressure. I need you to eat better. I need you to take your medication. I need you to exercise more. And all of you hearing all of these big terms, and you're not really understanding the why. And what we found, especially just in general, what we found is if you don't understand the why of something, you're probably not going to do it.
The why, but then I want to say about the how. So when Freddie's diabetes got totally out of whack, he's been a diabetic for years, it was, all right, you need to get your blood sugar down. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I know why I need to, I'm going to die, but how do I? And not many physicians have the time. And again, it's not because they don't want to have the time. They don't have the time to educate and say, this is how you need to.
The problem is too, the patients are only giving you half the story. They get in there, they're
that's a whole
nervous, they
nother
don't know what to say, so they're basing.
Where can we find your blog if people are trying to find?
If they can find me, drpierresblog.com, drpierres blog.com, or Dr. Barry Pierre. It'll go to the same website as well. I try to make it as easy for my patients. And what I like to do, especially for my patients, where I may not have that 30 minutes to speak, I say, well, I talked about diabetes on my blog. Just go to my blog, read that. If you have any questions, come back to me.
And he does lunch and learns.
I do lunch and learns every Tuesday and Thursday. So
where do you do those?
We usually do it in my office. I'll do it right in my office.
One of the amazing things when you become a diabetic, and the way I was told by somebody to go see the doctor, who is not a doctor. She's not even, I don't know.
She's a nurse.
She's a nurse, and she put her hand on my arm and she said, okay, it's time to go. And I'm looking at her, what are you talking about? 294, 296 was my sugar reading.
Okay.
It's down to 118 today. But it's because I've had a tribe. I've had Dawn, I've had coaches, I've had Leslie, I have a whole bunch of people. They don't let me get away with nothing.
Supplements, everything.
Supplements, I've tried every angle. The funniest thing is that I have a doctor. He's the least person that I have spoken to about my diabetes. And what you're telling me right now is hitting the bell. I wanted to meet somebody who I can see does Facebook, who can relate, who can talk to me as a person, not on, let me give you 15 years of medical experience,
right,
and bog you down with this terminology, and I don't know if I can help you at the end of the day anyway. Because if you're going to eat bad...
But your doctors didn't tell your doctors, the doctor you ultimately have been working with, they've been very good and very thorough with you.
Yes. When I was in intensive care, a doctor that I met 3 years ago, he put his hand around my neck and he admitted me to ICU immediately or I was going to die. Yes, he helped me. Then the nurses took over, 12 of them. They tore off my clothes and they took care of me. Absolutely. But I'm talking about today, what you're saying, the reason that diabetics don't adhere to what they should do is because they don't either have a tribe, which is what I call my people.
Support system, yeah.
They don't have a support system, or they can't relate to a doctor who's in today's country, in today's time.
Right.
That's the biggest problem. You want to heal diabetes? People will listen, but they got to see a guy who handles a phone on Facebook while he's doing an interview. Change the game.
I mean, you have it in this time now where if you're insurance bull name insurance company, they say, oh, go see Dr. Barry Pierre. First thing, most likely you're gonna do is you're gonna Google, see who is this Dr. Barry Pierre, and as long as you're not seeing all of these health grading websites, as long as you see a website that's by me, and you say like, oh wow, I like this guy's smile. Oh, and he actually knows what he's talking about. Right. Like, that already gives me credibility before you even walk into my door.
They're engaging with you.
Those health grades and those websites, all you need is one person to say something not nice, and it could just be they didn't like the woman that answered the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And that gets, you're downgraded. And I'm glad you said that because not often do medical practices have their own website. Because, again, they're too busy practicing medicine and seeing patients to even have that. But people look, which is why I told you we even need a website. People want to know your background. They want to know where you train. They want to know even about your family, that you've got kids or you're married or you're not. What are your hobbies? What makes you real?
Definitely. And I think especially from, like, even before I came out here, what did I do? Went to you guys' Facebook page, watched like 10 videos, like, oh, okay. So, like, I was already engaged. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm excited now. And that's what happens. Like, for the physician, we don't treat our patient as how we should be treated. Like, our patients are our customers. Like, we don't like to call them customers. They really are our customers. They're the reason why the lights are open. They're the reason why, all these insurance companies are around. But because we don't treat them like they're actual customers, we don't think that they're right. We don't think that service should be a priority for them. And we don't manage their time. I'm not sure, hopefully you don't have this experience. I have some patients, they go to certain doctors, they have to clear out a whole day to go see one doctor.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, my appointment's at 10
I go
o'clock.
Today and I gotta see him tomorrow.
I go at 10 o'clock, but I don't get seen till 11:30.
Right.
Like you couldn't do that at Walmart. You couldn't do that at all of these other. Oh, I'm sorry, name any.
If there are groups or some video games or people to talk, I don't mind doing that.
Right.
I'll wait 3 days if you want, but they got nothing to do in this place. And it's cold.
Or walk you through a maze like Disney does to get to the ride. There's like 10 lines.
It's like getting back here to our studio.
Right.
But if a patient like Freddie came to you with a blood sugar of 296, and he had already been on a standard medication, I want to say for years.
I was on metformin for a couple of years.
And what would be your first step to say, all right, we need to, because he had no idea, what do we do next?
So first thing I got to ask him is, why does he think his sugar is that high?
Because 44 pounds too heavy.
Obesity is a big cause, but again, I have a lot of skinny patients with diabetes and sugars out the wazoo as well. So yes, we do blame food, but we have to understand that there's good food and there's bad food. in this country, especially when we talk about diabetes, we'll talk about heart disease, we'll talk about cholesterol, all kinds of falls under the same pattern. A lot of where we get in trouble is our portion sizes are out of control. Out of control. Any restaurant, out of control. So first I got to see let me see the type of foods you're eating. Before I'm even discussing what type of foods we need to change, I need to see how much of it you're eating. Because if I can't even get you to eat less of the bad foods, then I can't get you to eat any of the good foods.
Sure.
And are you able to take the time and say, these are the foods I would like to see you eat versus this and why?
Oh, definitely. And I think as a physician, especially as a primary care physician, because we see this so often, and again, one of the things I do, I also coach physicians as well to get better at taking care of their patients, is if you're seeing the same thing over and over and over again, just write it down and have a printout ready.
Right.
Diabetes, boom. Right. These are the foods that, and I take care of a lot of Creole Haitian patients. So that's a whole different diet in and of itself. I'm Puerto Rican, so there's a whole different diet in and of itself. When I sometimes tell my patients they have diabetes, the first thing they think is, oh my God, I can't eat rice anymore. The world is done.
Culturally, rice and beans in the Latino culture.
Right. But I ain't enough of that for the last 50 years. I don't have to eat no more. Right. I can't. There are certain foods that I say hello food and it skyrockets my sugar, and there are others that don't. The walking, yes, Dawn. I know I gotta walk.
Sure.
Walking is an issue. You gotta get that done. It's just getting home at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
I know you're screaming because I go home late, and you gotta push.
Yeah.
But you've lost 40 pounds.
44. Thank you very much.
Since I've started working.
But that's because you have that team with you working, which is kind of like we're the team for him at home, so that we can help those poor seniors that don't know what to do at home and follow through. We go in, we clean out the refrigerator and get rid of all that bad food, help them get the right foods, take the medication.
And not for nothing, but Jane called my mother in Puerto Rico, and I want to thank you on the air for doing that. My mother calls me, she says, is she going to call me back? I said, no, Mom, it's not an 800 number. Let me talk to you. Did you listen to anything she said to you? She says, oh, yes, very much. And I said to her, are you going to do any of that? She says, well, she says she's going to try to help me over here. I said, no, you're missing the point. You got to come here. But
we talked about that. We talked about getting them a social worker there, which I'm having a little bit of.
It's a challenge because Puerto Rico is unfortunately bankrupt, and there are no more services. Okay, you want a coconut, you got to climb the tree. Wow. But the bottom line is that if she comes here, she can be helped. But I appreciate you doing that, because a lot of people in my life and my line of work, and she'll attest to it, tell us that they do things they don't do.
Right.
You get sort of lost in the juice.
Jane followed through. When we get back from break, I want to talk about how Dr. Pierre and Caring People and their services with Stacy and Jane really help the patients get to their next level of accountability and compliance. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
You got your competition watching.
Oh, we do? Who's that?
Brian Solomon.
Oh, senior nannies.
I saw him yesterday at that big social work thing.
Oh God, we're live.
He'll be calling you next. How do I get on the show?
He's been on before.
Oh, he has?
He ain't coming back.
He's a thorn in our side.
Wait, Jane, you're
Jesse
still
is
live?
just amazing.
Oh.
I am.
Can you imagine that would be me? Yeah.
Hope he doesn't watch Dr. Pierre's vlog.
Hopefully not.
Hope he's still alive. I'm not.
Yeah.
We were on live mic yesterday for 2 hours.
Oh, gee. So the first session was all about coaching? Or business coaching?
Business coaching, consulting.
Definitely.
They have a line of shirts called Tees for Humanity.
Oh.
So empowerment, a line for heroes, first responders.
Were the 21 doctors involved in your book like colleagues or friends, or how did you select those doctors?
My coach, Dr. He actually, I think I saw him share it earlier. So he kind of he kind of put it out there, and he's been out there. He's considered America's favorite OBGYN, and he's just always been out there. And I actually knew of him since I was an undergrad for one of our organizations. I think it was NOMA or something. And he reached out, and I reached out to him, and I was like, you know what? I was feeling under the crunch, and I just felt like I felt boxed in. And I was like, I didn't know what to do, and then he was there to kind of take me out that box.
Did you see our numbers yesterday?
What's respectful about that though is so many physicians just give up.
Oh yeah.
They don't care. They do the bare minimum. I mean, they do. We deal with it because then patients go home and they we can't even get orders signed correctly. Or the things that we need to take care of them at home because they just don't care anymore.
And I think what happens, they get burnt out, they get frustrated.
It's unfortunate.
Especially because from a physician standpoint, you go to school all this time.
I don't even know how I made it to that show. I was so tired.
you see that the only way I can make money is if I keep seeing the patient over and over again. In our mind, that's the only way.
At least I hit it well.
But again, I think like she said, they don't have a website. Why don't you have a website? There's the amount of money you can generate from a website. They don't have a blog. The amount of money you can generate from a blog. They don't do live stream.
And honestly too, I think a lot of them have tried some of the websites, and then they get bamboozled.
Yeah.
$6,000 later, and happens.
I think that's, and Dr. Dre, he actually tells us whenever I go to embark in in a business venture, I never mention that I'm a physician. Because the second I say I'm a physician, all of a sudden your price.
You know what's funny is that last seminar you went to, it's like not that it pertains so much to me, but it's like you end up wanting to
everyone's looking to find out what we do and
so hyped, all the doctors. So what you said was so interesting.
It said if you're
if you're not on social media, you're not growing, or you're just not.
You're not there.
It can be something simple, but people are
especially in this day and age, right?
The doctor I used to work for.
Yeah, I know.
You were talking about the humanity stuff, and this is kind of sort of off the subject, but Habitat of Humanity, for Humanity, that's where they build the houses for these people. Someone in my office actually lives in one of the homes that they built for her. It's the most incredible story to hear.
My son,
how people come together to do that.
Got him on social media, Instagram, Facebook Live, doing like funny memes of him.
So I went down to the site and I took a camera.
Because I think the older physicians think that they have to put in much work, but if you could pay a younger
but someone on the show, and I don't remember who it was, talking about that. It's not a free house. It's not a giveaway.
They pay the taxes on it.
They help you qualify. It still has a mortgage. There are things. It's not like, here's a free house.
No, but very little, and it's a brand new house, very little mortgage. And then they surprise her with fully furnished.
Your blogs are going to gear in a different direction when you take your different positions.
But that was Habitat,
someone asked me that. Like,
I was thinking about that. I'm like,
because now we're going to be doing more inpatient stuff, but I still feel like,
I picture you like skirting through the halls with dust behind you,
Definitely.
I saw your handbook too. I was like,
yes, that's definitely exciting. So
it's like a Goodwill,
especially for physicians, like we could do so much more if we just it just takes a little bit. Like the fear, especially in physicians. Problem with physicians, and my coach told me this all the time, is that we come up having to be perfection, right? Like because again, in my line of work, if I'm not 100% perfect, I could kill you.
You could probably relate to what he's saying, especially on the home side.
So because we're not 100%, if we're not 100% perfect, we won't even make an action.
Brooklyn Cafe. We are live streaming on Facebook. We have at the Brooklyn Cafe and on Periscope at the Brooklyn Cafe.
What you give him, the Dawn stuff?
I
think
I had a smile.
You gave him the Dawn stare.
Always a smile.
I seen that stare.
I see that home all the time, so I already know.
He's married. He's got lots of kids, so I think he's straight that look before.
Is that the look?
That's the married with children look.
Peggy Bundy look.
My husband must know that look well.
He warned me about you.
You can find us on Facebook and Periscope at the Brooklyn Cafe. And I think Dr. Pierre is also sharing it on his live stream as well.
Yes, all social media handles at Dr. Barry Pierre.
We were talking about the accountability and the continuity of care. You work with caring people. You work with Jane. You work with Stacy. How do you find their services helpful for your population of patients?
They're amazing because I take care of patients in the hospital, in the office. A lot of services that I can't, because I can't be at home with them. I want to be everywhere, but I can't be everywhere with them. So it's great to kind of have that arm where, like, I don't even have to look. I already know they're doing a good job, and they're taking care of my patients, and my patients need medication management. They're taking care of that. If they need their dietary management, which I get a lot of, they're taking care of that. Physical therapy, taking care of that. So that's why it's so amazing to have an organization like them, and especially work with Stacy, because I don't even have to second guess it. I know if Stacy's on the case, my hands could be washed and my patient will be taken care of.
Can you explain how that works? You'll have a patient who's on Medicare and they need OT, PT, some sort of aids. They have ADLs that they need.
Yep.
How do you contact Jane, or you contact Stacy as well?
Right now I contact Stacy, and I have Stacy's cell phone number.
Stacy calls me.
And so it's like, hey Stacy, I have a patient who really could use some help. Either they're falling at home, because again, it doesn't have to be an extremely sick patient, especially because from an acuity standpoint, you want to prevent. Like, I want to prevent you from breaking a hip. I want to prevent you from ending up in a hospital. That's my goal. My goal is to make hospitals bankrupt, right? So I don't want my patient to end up in a hospital. So I need those services to kind of serve as a buffer.
Hospital. Embroidered logo on his jacket.
I know, somebody give me a red pen. Put a line through that bad
Maybe
boy.
once that doctors are people books to keep going out.
Holy smokes, we were only kidding.
No filter here.
But it's not even just the medication management. It's their lifestyle management. It's their ADLs.
And really sending the right patients to the hospital, not these patients that really could be managed at home
Yep.
with private duty and home care. I think it's huge.
Since you're saying that, what's the right patient that we can manage at home? How can you manage the right patient at home?
Patients that are teachable, patients that have a little bit of support at home, patients that we can provide nursing, physical therapy, private duty services, teach them how to do their nutrition, teach them how to take the pills, when to take them, check your blood pressure so that you're within your parameters and you don't have to call 911 every few minutes or call the doctor and bog him down, and we can help him at home.
How often can people receive services?
Depends on the diagnosis.
As far as, like monitoring blood pressure, do you supply them with a blood pressure cuff, or will you have someone come into the house every other day, every day?
We are actually in the process of launching a telehealth service at home, so that we will be providing them with their own blood pressure machine. It's all live Bluetooth through
Through that
telephone.
tablet you showed?
Yes, and so that we will have those values right in front of us, and we're all following the parameters that the doctor has set, so that we can prevent those readmissions to the hospital.
And will Dr. Pierre, will you be able to get those results, or will they go through Caring People to you, or will you be able to do the telemed yourself?
I think right now it usually goes through the telemed, but like I said, the nurses, they usually have our direct contacts. So if there's any abnormal lab, vital sign, blood pressure, sugar, I'm notified pretty immediately and able to make adjustments. Because again, at the end of the day, we want to, bankrupt these hospitals. We don't want our patients ending up in the hospitals for unnecessary reasons.
Right, that's exactly it.
We have an app that will transfer any information on a patient that will go straight to you. And wherever you want to receive it, it shows up in your phone. So if somebody's getting work done, you get to see it right there. It goes in hand right now with what they're working on. They have this code that they put it on pacemakers, and they're able to tell you, get to the hospital, you're about to have a heart attack. Well, we came up with the same thing where we're able to talk to whatever deal, and that app will send it to whatever doctor you want, and the information is there. It's automatic.
It's all HIPAA encrypted and all that. I'm sure.
What's
something a lot of physicians, especially in the beginning, were very hesitant for that because they didn't want to be connected to their patients. Again, they didn't want to I don't want to have to everywhere I go.
I don't want to say him right now.
Well, even just changing it to what you have to do in the hospital as far as typing your notes and templating, and it's not handwritten, and there's it's a generational gap. You were probably in med school, you were probably taught to type your notes, whereas doctors before you, before computers, before everyone was really typing savvy, it takes that much more work, and you have to keep up with the times. But then again, it takes away from patient time.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but isn't time what saves a patient?
Definitely. And I think especially for physicians who, use that as a reason why, I can't, I can't talk to my patient because I have to type a note. I think we definitely have to move forward with past the excuses. Because really that's what it is. When I was in residency, we actually went through that transition of, okay, all right, we were writing in paper charts, and then we're taking the paper charts away. So, of course, our older physicians had, problems, and they were disgruntled, but they got over it.
It's a transition.
Right. Because you have to do it, again, especially in this time and age where, especially when we talk about electronic, everything's electronic. Why? Because billing is electronic, and they want to get paid. And if you want to get paid, you'll write your
business.
This is a business.
Now doctors have to learn. Not only are you saving lives, but it's still a business.
Well, that goes into the whole time factor.
Yes. But time is of essence. Your father yesterday, a tribute to this man. I want to bring him on the air because I want to talk about. He's one of the few doctors left that does patient. He visits house calls, right?
Oh wow!
And I want to bring him on and call the segment "The Life of a House Call," because I admire his work ethic. I admire that he does what he does. I'm pretty sure he's old school and he writes things down as opposed to computers. But he told me something that's phenomenal is coming out. It's a watch that measures diabetes, and the watch has the insulin in it, and it will measure it and automatically feed you the insulin you need automatically. It's FDA not approved yet. It's in there. I said to your mom, we got to buy stock. We got to buy a lot of it now.
It's true. My dad started a practice doing house calls when he was residency, and then medicine changed in his own practice, and then we had to transfer his office to the EMRs. And then insurance companies changed. He closed his office because of all of the insurance complications, and now he's back to doing house calls, but he has a tablet. So yes, he had to learn to type, and he types it with one finger, and we tease him because he sits and he pecks and hunts and he gets it done.
But admire his work ethic.
But the tenacity, and he continues to work and work and work.
It's refreshing, and it's good to see that a doctor like yourself is changing with the times. Millennials, my son says that it has to be done in 2.3 seconds. I used to say, John F. Kennedy used to have a library, and every time they asked him a question, he would get a book to answer that question, because he wanted people to see reading is fundamental. That's where that whole thing came from. Nowadays is, let me go to Google. Let me go to my phone. Yeah. How do you remove a splinter in your finger? You ever seen this? I was watching 2 kids the other day. Let me Google it.
Yeah.
What?
There was time. Do you remember when Linda Harmon got stung by a bee? If I had Googled it, the stinger would still be in her finger.
Well, you have nails and you just yank the damn thing out.
I mean, you just have to do what you got to do.
What's the name of the book, Doc?
The Making of the Medical Mogul.
I got it.
It's on Amazon, or you can go to my website, drpiersblog.com/books. I'll get in fact.
You get me a signed copy.
I want to ask you one more question though. Work-life balance.
Yes.
How do you do it?
I have an amazing wife, who understands that I have to be very meticulous with the time, especially because of all of the stuff I do, live streaming, blogging.
What does she do for a living?
Right now, she's working on her thesis to finish up. So we're hopefully that she'll be done by the end of this year or early spring. She'll work on her thesis and she'll get her doctorate in marriage and family therapy.
Nice.
And they have good children, so you have a lot going on.
What do you do? What doctors and people too. What do you do for fun?
Oh, fun! I'm a big video games. I've never left that. Video games. I am. If anyone's out there, if you want me on FIFA, I'm not a Call of Duty person, but I'll play some FIFA. If you want FIFA, yes, I love soccer.
You play football, Madden?
Yeah, Madden and Madden. I'm big sports.
What's your code name?
Dr. B. Pierre.
Really, Pierre?
Gio, write that down, Gio, because my kids are into all that. I love it. All over the world.
You have to, because medicine is busy enough that you could do that all day, every day, and then not do anything else. So you have to remove yourself out of that. And I love playing video games. My wife loves planning our vacations, because she usually tells me when I'm off. She's like, all right, you're taking this day off and we're going here. Because I love working, so if it wasn't for her, I'd probably just keep on working. And I think that's what, that's a detriment to physicians as well, because we love doing what we do. So we'll do it all day, every day.
Yeah, but you're having fun doing it.
I do.
And you see patients other than Medicare?
Yes. I see pretty much all. I think the only patients we don't see is Molina Medicaid in our office. But pretty much everyone else, especially a lot of patients on the Affordable Care Act.
Okay, well that's good to know, because there are not a lot of physicians that are on the Affordable Care Act.
Yes.
Yep. Well, and he also has a team that does house calls too.
Well, it's also coming back. The Affordable is going to be funded for him. He's going to be around another year at least. So
well, it's not the funding; it's the physicians aren't on the panel.
Right.
Yeah,
so
no,
you may have the insurance.
Thought it was going away.
Well, you may have the insurance, but to find a physician that actually accepts the insurance is a whole other.
Right. Yeah, and I'll do a shameless plug, but that's the Health Physician Group does take the Affordable Care Act plan. So if any patients need a physician, we have about 7 primary cares in our office. In our group, we have surgeons, cardiologists, OB. So
we can.
So you're a comprehensive group.
Yeah.
That's it. It's really unique, because what you got working here is, when you go to see the doctor, he takes care of you, and when you leave and need somebody else to take care of you, the care continues.
Yep.
You don't find this.
No. Where can we find you?
I am practicing out of Boynton Beach, 2800 South Seacrest Boulevard, Suite 140. Right across the street from Bethesda East Hospital.
Is your phone number?
I'm sorry. Phone number 561-739-9200.
Find his blog, his website.
Blog, drpierre.com.
I'm going to find him on Madden.
Yes. Yes. Out there.
And Jane, where can we find you and Stacy and Caring People?
Caring People Home Care. We cover Vero all the way to Dade County, New York, and New Jersey. And our local number is 860-6500.
She remember the number. And I'm going to tell you something. Call them because they actually do what they said they're going to do.
And that's the follow through.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the follow through.
And that's it. The crux of this business is following through and doing what you say you're going to do. So when she said she was going to call, she did. You know, Joe passed away.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yesterday.
I'm so sorry.
But he definitely could have used your help if he would have still been here. So rest in peace, my friend.
All right, everyone, have a thoughtful, thankful Thursday. I forgot what day we're. Thursday. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Dr. Pierre. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you for
Carol,
having us.
It's great to be back in iHeart. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Be kind to each other. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Can you read that comment on there?